A chicken walks into a library. She walks up to the librarian and says, "Book." This is just the start of a much longer joke. But let's stop here and take a look around. Some of you will already have worked out the first joke. For those of you who haven't, oczywiście book to książka, ale słuchajcie, a chicken says book, 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 book. Before we go any further, this is an example of how the world of a joke or a story can sometimes exist in the tense which is not a tense. If you don't know what this is, you need to click on the link in the description. It's used very often for telling stories and can even be used to describe real events. It's like you have a film of the event and you describe it as you show it to someone else. The whole story can be done in one or both of the present tenses. So, a chicken walks into a library. She walks up to the librarian and says, "Book." The librarian gives the chicken a book. The chicken leaves the library, but comes back an hour later, gives back the book to the librarian and again says, "Book." Stop! The phrasal verb, to come back, is one which I have heard creating problems many, many times. I've even heard people say things like, "I will back tomorrow," or "we can sort it out when we back." This is one of those times when something is simpler to understand than to use. The good news is, to come back means the same as the verb to return. Now this is a useful verb because it can also mean to give back or to bring back. So instead of struggling with three phrasal verbs, just use to return. Okay, where were we? Ah yes, chicken blah blah, library blah blah, book blah, chicken leaves blah blah. The librarian replaces the book. The chicken leaves again, but returns once more after an hour, returns the second book to the librarian and says, "Book." Now, I have a version of this joke where the chicken leaves and returns several times and is embarrassed, then sad, then sarcastic, depressed, fatalistic, and finally very, very angry. But we can skip all of that. Eventually, the librarian decides he has to know what's going on. So, he follows the chicken when she leaves. The chicken takes the book out of the town and into a large field. In the corner of the field is a pond. Sitting on a lily pad in a corner of the pond is a large frog. The chicken marches up to the frog, throws the book down and says, "Book." The frog looks at the chicken and says, "Read it." Oh yes. For more of this sort of thing, please like and subscribe. It's free.